Plants vs. Zombies Fusion is a Chinese Plants vs. Zombies mod in which the central gimmick is fusing plants together to make them stronger. But unfortunately, due to tariffs, I can no longer afford any plants from China, so I'll be unable to use any of these fusions. With that being said, can you beat Plants vs. Zombies Fusion on the hardest difficulty without fusing? Let's go over the ground rules. Rule 1, I must always play on difficulty 5. The hardest difficulty, also known as
Are you sure?
This means that 10 times the zombies will spawn. The zombies have a 60% damage resistance and move 20% faster, as well as instance no longer piercing armor, which means combined with the damage resistance, a bucket head can survive a cherry bomb. Rule 2, no fusing. This means I cannot fuse plants to create a fusion via any means, whether it be by my own hand or not. However, upgrading plants is not fusing, and you can use fused plants obtained by means other than fusion. In the event that a plant is accidentally fused, I may continue playing if it is removed quickly before it impacts anything. This is because there are certain situations that make fusions near impossible to avoid. I apologize for the liberal rule set, but trust me, this challenge is hard enough as is. With the ground rule set, we can finally begin the challenge proper. I came into this challenge thinking the first world would be very easy, but boy was I wrong. I was quickly and brutally shown the horrors of war. In the very first level, my defenses are completely overwhelmed and destroyed by the big wave of zombies at the end. This happens in almost every level, and means that keeping all 5 lawnmowers to the end of the level is basically a requirement. 10 times the zombies is a lot of zombies, but honestly that isn't even our biggest worry. A 60% damage reduction is a lot more than you would think. As you can see in this clip, I have to expend my entire life savings just to defeat 2 buckethead zombies. And that's just a buckethead zombies. I'm not even mentioning the modded zombies yet, which are like an entire raid boss when they show up. At first I was planning to do this run without using any of the features exclusive to modded, but I immediately gave that up on the second level, realizing it's not possible. I decided to start using slow motion and the extra seed slots, which cost double the price. But however, even with these boons, I am still unable to beat the second level. Even if I was able to beat the second level, it's just the second level. Sure, I could spend hours grinding away at it and get to level 3, and then lose there. It's clear that our current setup just does not work with this challenge. So, I decided I need all the help I can get. In Plants vs. Zombies Fusion, there are several unlockable plants which you can get from beating challenges. I have decided that if I can beat a plant's challenge without fusing, then I can unlock that plant. I unlock the new plant Barley, which transforms into a random plant from the mod, including fusions. You may call this cheating, I call it winning. With the new Barley plant able to assist us, we can hop back into level 1, 2, and get our asses beat again! Okay, so what now? Usually in challenge videos, they try to unlock things like this slower in order to keep the video more interesting. I, however, want to make this video, and it is clear that without all the help I can get, I cannot do it. So, what unlockable plants can we try to unlock? Of the unlockable plants, there are only 3 that'll help us right now. Most of the unlockable plants are barred behind adventure mode levels, and most of the ones that aren't are barred behind Odyssey mode, which is unlocked by beating adventure. Therefore, this only leaves us with 4 plants that we can unlock right now. Barley, which we already discussed. Hamburger Shooter, which is unlocked by beating this Vase Breaker level. Cattail Girl, which is locked behind this level that I sadly could not beat, but I came really close, trust me. And last, but not least, Cattail Squash, which is unlocked by beating a squash minigame. Alright, before we get into level 1, 2, yes, the second level, just as a reminder, I think it's time I need to introduce you to the squad. First we got Sunflower, the goat. No need to really explain. Only way to make sun. Like, Twin Sunflower and Sun Shroom just do not exist because they're fusions. Actually, there is another way to get Sun, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, can't run without Sunflower. Next we got Pea Shooter. He's here, I guess. I mean, he's pretty good until you unlock Hamburger Shooter, who immediately outclasses Pea Shooter. Hamburger Shooter has a long recharge and a cost of 125 Sun, but he shoots several random projectiles, makes Sun, and can be upgraded by placing plants on him, which is not fusing and thus not allowed. And also, the first plant you need is Cactus, so it would be a while before we get that anyway. So we have Barley, who's, we'll put him in B for, okay. So, Barley, what it does, it'll turn into a random plant every 30 seconds, which can be powerful, but it can also be useless, so yeah. With Barley, we'll go with the Squash. It's, basically, the Cattail Squash will give you, for every zombie, it's a squash that costs 125. For every zombie it destroys, it'll give you an extra squash. If it destroys 3 or more zombies, it'll give you a squash jalapeno mixture, which is super helpful, but it's a bit limited as a lot of the time it is just kind of a worse squash. So I consider it like on par with a cherry bomb. So actually we'll put an A. And yeah, that's the squad. With the squad now assembled, we were able to steamroll through the second level on my first try. I meant second try! The Coneheads, which gave us so much trouble before, stand no chance against our new Hamburger Shooters. The third level also takes 2 attempts and is very fun to watch on 16 times speed. A brief calm before the storm with the next 3 levels before the mod gets nightmarishly hard again, with a level that isn't very hard, followed by a level that gives us unlimited time to prepare, and a level that introduces some new difficult zombies, which will be hard later but aren't hard now. Before we get to the harder levels, I think it's time we go over the tools that we have available to us, as well as the zombies those tools are going to be used to combat. We unlock 2 new semi-instant plants, Potato Mine, which is painfully mediocre, and Chomper, which is by far one of the best plants in the entire game. No, I did not get those 2 backwards. Potato Mine is useful for early game stalling, but that's really all it can do. And it's not even that good at it. It can't kill a bucket head. Anything it can kill, the Hamburger Shooter can also kill, which, combined with the glove, is pretty much as effective as the Potato Mine. And the Potato Mine does work well with the glove, which we will get to later, but it really just doesn't have much use at all after the first 30 seconds. It goes in C for okay. Meanwhile, Chomper is by far the best instant use plant in the game, which is really impressive considering it's not even an instant use plant. It destroys any zombie except for a couple ones in specific, notably not dealing damage, just destroying them, which means the damage resistance means nothing to them. This allows you to quickly place down a Chomper to kill very difficult to deal with zombies, which is everything. Even Bucketheads it's pretty good against, but there are some really nasty zombies that the Chomper is the only good way to deal with. Not only that, but it leaves value on the field after being played, because now you have a Chomper which may finish chewing and swallow again. Incredibly useful plant, instant S tier. It's S tier even with fusions, and without fusions it's not that much weaker. Up next we have the Walnut, which is pretty good. I'll give it an A for A-okay. I mean, what do you think it does? Shoots missiles? It's a wall. It's good to have a wall. In fact, if I had it, I could probably have beaten the second level. I really don't need to say anything. It's a wall! Last and certainly least, we have the surprise box, which will give you a random vanilla plant outside of ones that need to be fused or upgraded to get, such as Repeater or Tallnut. Wow! That's... I can't even say it's okay, man. It's just mid. I mean, you can fish for some good stuff early on when you don't have it unlocked. Like, you can try to get a melon pulled out of it, but really, you're just not gonna get much value out of this. I mean, it's better than Pea Shooter, but like, come on, it's Pea Shooter. D tier. Now that we've talked about the plants, let's cover some other tools that we have to fight the zombies, starting with the shovel. You know what this does. It's okay, A tier. It's pretty nice to have, but I mostly just use it to remove accidental fusions. There's one more thing we've unlocked in the last couple of levels, which is a game changer, the glove. The glove lets you pick up and move plants or zombies, and is very powerful, especially combined with plants like Chomper or Potato Mine, but it also just lets you get things out of danger or in position. This gets an instant A+ tier for, okay, this is really good. Oh, we also unlocked 2 more things. Metal items, which aren't very useful. I mean, like, literally the only time they could potentially be useful is if we get a hypno magnet from barley or some other things from barley, and we also have the golden bean, which is occasionally useful with silver plants or golden plants from barley. These aren't very useful. They're not even gonna get okay. I mean, golden beans, it's nice to have, I guess. And metal items, new tier, F, are not okay.
So Homer Simpson, I hear you like donuts. I may have some here and maybe a few boners. Why your wife's hair tall and also blue? Did someone took a crap on it? Oh, it's probably you. So here comes the juice. Yeah, I'm on the loose. Spit thunder like Zeus at this family of fruit.
Zombies in this mod are a lot more challenging than one might expect, even if they've already played this mod on difficulty 5 before. A 60% damage resistance is a lot more than you would think. The mod is designed with fused plants in mind, which do a lot more than 60% extra damage, but without them, our vanilla plants just have trouble keeping up. Just look at this footage of a Buckethead being attacked by 3 fume shrooms. He just refuses to die. But my courageous ass is not afraid of the zombies, so I learned a few tricks to deal with them. The first zombie you will encounter is the basic zombie. The basic zombie has 270 health, but will actually die when it reaches around 90-ish health. Since Ps only do 8 damage on this difficulty, it will take around 20 to kill a basic zombie. Yikes. These enhanced zombies make the early game frustrating, especially with the random speed, making it a gamble if a plant can win a 1v1 with a zombie sometimes. Most of this run is spent resetting in the early game due to the basic and conehead zombies, so the literal weakest zombie in the game goes in C tier for challenging. The conehead's cone has 370 HP, giving it more effective health than 2 basic zombies combined. This zombie is a nightmare to deal with in the early game, and it makes level 1-2 basically impossible without modded plants. A hamburger shooter is barely enough to defeat a single conehead, which makes them a very difficult zombie to deal with. They go with B tier for bad news. Buckethead Zombie has 1100 HP on his helmet, takes 160 Ps to kill, and can survive a squash. What the fuck? This goes in A for actual nightmare. I'm putting the pole vaulting zombie on my suicide note. This thing is as fast as a conehead. I'm keeping it in, that's stupid. Has as much health as a conehead, is incredibly fast, and can jump over obstacles. Stuff like this is how I know we live in a cold and uncaring universe. There can be no God when such evil exists. These are the zombies that give us the most trouble in this world. The screen door zombie is just an easier Buckethead. The Zombotany zombies don't show up enough to be very difficult. The Zombotany peas are kind of just easier than coneheads, and the Zombotany walnuts are just a little harder bucketheads. And then we have the proverbial massive fucking elephant in the room that I'm ignoring. If anyone's played PvZ Fusion before, you know who this is. This is basically the boogeyman of PvZ Fusion for a good reason. The cherry newspaper zombie. If you destroy his newspaper, may God rest your soul, because you're dead. It's theoretically possible to solve it, but realistically, you're just gonna have everything you hold dear, your family, your kids, your wife, your second family, just destroyed. No amount of indomitable human spirit can save you from a cold and uncaring newspaper zombie. It haunts not just my nightmares, but my very soul as well. S+ tier. I feel like I've gotten sidetracked. What were we supposed to go over after I talked about the plants and zombies? Oh, right! Today's winning lottery numbers. Let's see. For the Powerball lottery, the winning lotters are 15, 44, 63, 66, 69, 20. Let me repeat, for the Powerball jackpot, the winning numbers are 15, 44, 63, 66, 69, 20. The $168 million jackpot's winning numbers for the ×2 power play are 15, 44, 63, 66, 69, 20. Remember to like and subscribe for more live drawings on TRC Wolf's channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 11 p.m. Alright, now that we've got the winning lottery numbers out of the way, we can talk about level 1-9. Level 1-9 is a difficult level that features many of our hardest foes we have faced so far. We have Tweedledee and Tweedledum over here, Buckethead and his swollen cousin who is functionally the same as him, Buckethead swollen cousin's crackhead brother, the immortal snail, Satan himself, and motherfucking Cthulhu. When choosing my plants in this level, since I hadn't decided if Tallnut was allowed yet, I just decided to bring every plant except Pea Shooter into this level. Look, I'm sorry, Pea Shooter. It's not anything you've done, and it's not that you're a bad plant, you're amazing, it's just that you have certain strengths and weaknesses, and they don't really apply for this situation at the moment, and I just... Please understand, Pea Shooter. Oh, okay, he understands. The strategy in the early game is to try to produce as much sun as possible. I usually like to get a row of sunflowers protected by a hamburger shooter and a walnut. Our goal for the early mid-game is to get as much barley and hamburger shooters as possible. Sun management is crucial. You want to try to avoid using instants if you can, as the sun they cost adds up. If you do have to use an instant, however, try to get as much value from it as possible. How you do this differs on a case-by-case basis. Since all our instants cost about the same amount of sun, it doesn't matter which one you choose from a sun perspective. If you want to kill just one zombie, especially one with high HP, use Chomper as it is the only one that can instantly kill some zombies and it leaves value on the lawn. Cattail Squash is the most potent of the three, giving you up to 4 squashes, one of which has enough damage to one-shot every zombie we've seen so far except for the blue ones. You can use it for mass destruction or just to proverbially kill 2 proverbial birds with 1 proverbial stone. And last of the instants so far is the Cherry Bomb, which is good when you want to get a zombie that would be difficult to hit with other plants. This is also a good moment to mention the glove. The glove has many uses to save sun or your hind. Whether it be moving a zombie out of the way of your row of sunflowers, moving a walnut in front of a zombie, moving a zombie back farther in the lawn to effectively reset it, moving a zombie in front of the range of a hamburger shooter, moving a hamburger shooter so it's in range of a zombie. Really, the sky's the limit with this thing. Though it should be noted that because it is so valuable, the glove's cooldown itself is a resource, and you should try to avoid using it if you think you can get away with it. Now that I reviewed the basic strategy with you, without further ado, let's look through a few of the runs with you and explain what happened, how I blew 2 of them, and what I had done on the one run I won. So let's get it done, grandsons, nuns, and anyone else under the sun. Beginning with run number 1, it started off well, I made lots of sun. However, the run had just begun and it not yet grew. Would it bloom or would it be full of gloom? Right on cue, not 1 but 2 pole vaulters come out of the blue, but I did not let them send me to my doom. Unfortunately for me, there's more. Here comes number 3. With my subpar barley, number 4 was a bit much for me, and you see these pole vaulters spreading my defenses a bit thin, the others can wreak havoc and destruction, but old Tristan does not give in, so I get to squash it. But I can barely make a chip in these zombies. Made impervious by their armor, they just keep living far more longer than I had thought for. And if you are following the happenings in the lower directions, the protections I had fought for are goners. And the top half isn't out of harm or anything, but I'm not cowering, but unfortunately they just keep coming, so I get to bombing and pausing. I just keep brawling, but unfortunately for Mr. Collins and Crazy Dave, the zombies are about to call in a huge wave, and it looks like all will fall in a haze. But not always. I stay tall and stall and brawl, and do all I can not to fall, and with these plays I may not lose for some days. I never fail to amaze, and I don't mean to glaze, and I know it's cliche, but I will give myself some praise. And perhaps also give Barley a raise with these transformations, turning into a red gloomshroom for inflammation, and then Qzilla for zombie negation and decimation, helping me crawl out of this desperation, serving me good plants like a seedy gas station. As I dish out the devastation to the zombie aggregation, killing them without hesitation. But really, all this is just prolongation, as I just can't keep it up for this longer duration, and the zombies begin their retaliation, commencing the termination of my plantation, and all this eventually culminating in my devastation. As you watch the expurgation of my vegetation, I would like to cut this vocation a bit short, as I just need a break for some inhalation. And as you watch my run reach its final destination, I would like to add that I think it would have been funny if I found a way to rhyme copulation in there, but it doesn't have any relation to the rest of my rhyme. And it's a funny sex word, haha. Now, onto the second run I'm going to show you. This run was a lot better than the first one. I don't actually feel like I did anything wrong in particular. I just slowly got overwhelmed. I started off, again, like last run, making a lot of sun, but this time I did much better. I accidentally fused some walnuts and digged them up, and that's a minor setback, but I recovered pretty quick, and in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't make much of a difference. I used chompers a lot more in this run than in the previous one, but that might also be because just more dangerous zombies, like the blue zombies and the newspaper zombies, show up. Things seem to be going really well just over this run, but as it goes on, I get slowly more and more overwhelmed, losing a couple sunflowers here and there, but replanting them, but my line just keeps getting pushed backward, inch by inch. They say in Darkest Dungeon,
a death by inches.
This kind of is like World War II trench warfare. Whatever. World War I trench warfare, where the zombies are just sacrificing dozens of lives just to get an inch of land, but it's working. I mean, in this way, they push me back a bit. I start placing my taller ones a row behind I did before. And just as it goes on, there's no one little moment to lose. I just slowly die. It's not that I'm doing anything wrong, it's just that I'm not playing well enough. Also, could someone turn down the music? It is way too loud.
something. What the fuck is that corn pole from Barley? Like, what is that? Is that a black hole? What the fuck does that do? I don't have this translated to English, and I don't know everything anymore, because I've played a while. What the fuck is that?
In my winning attempt, it really came down to 3 things that just went better than my other runs. My strategy, my luck, and my execution. I make very few errors in this run. I start off the run by making one, however, by placing my sunflowers in a column instead of a row like a dim-witted oaf! But it doesn't really matter, because I get decent zombie luck and I deal with the threats early. In this run, I also employ a new strategy I didn't in previous attempts. Stalling. In Plants vs. Zombies, the faster you kill the zombies, the more zombies spawn. So, I avoid killing zombies too fast early on in order to make less spawn. I block off the first zombie with a potato mine and walnut so I can kill him cheaply and slowly, as well as getting some other zombies who have entered his lane. By the time he finishes destroying the walnut, there will be some other zombies there, and they will get blown up as well as the first zombie. Soon, the pole vaulters come in, and I make sure to trigger their ability as soon as possible. Because the pole vaulters lose their speed boost after they vault, triggering their ability as soon as possible is crucial to the early game. I get very lucky with my zombie spawns in this level, having only 1 newspaper zombie and no blue zombies spawn before the first flag. This is good, as these zombies can be headaches to deal with in the early game, as they essentially just require a chomper to take down, and can wreak havoc on your defenses if you don't destroy them quickly. I do a good job of protecting my sunflowers in this run. I only lose a few before the first flag. Another way this run goes well is with my barley luck. My barley consistently gives me good plants throughout this run, and it helps greatly. I make good use of walnuts in order to protect my sunflowers and avoid using instants, allowing me to save up a huge 1,600 sun before the first huge wave of zombies. This is great, as you usually only truly lose in Plants vs. Zombies when you run out of sun. I have a funny clip that demonstrates this from me playing a different mod.
2 more! No! You fuckers are withholding your goddamn sun from me, you fucking asshole! God fucking damn it! Fuck you!
I love this clip because this is the most I've ever raged at any game. Like, bro, calm down, you're playing a game from 2009 made for children. By the time the first flag rolls around, I've managed to build up such an advantage that I'm able to quickly and easily destroy the more difficult waves of zombies that start showing up. I also get even more luck from barley, with a useful game mechanic that allows me to make some of the strongest fusions it can give me permanent. You see, some plants in the game take up 2 tiles instead of 1. Barley can still transform into those, but what if barley only has 1 tile? The game decides to give you a seed packet of whatever barley was trying to transform into, which means that you can place it wherever you want and get to keep it for the rest of the level. We end up getting 4 of these over the course of the level, 3 of which are cob cannons, which let me destroy newspaper zombies without using any instants, and the one that isn't a cob cannon ends up being a pea shooter that just has amazing damage. It kills everything. With my continued amazing luck and strategy, if I'm able to continue playing without making any misplays, I'm able to get through the level. It may seem easy, but keep in mind, 1 newspaper zombie is all it takes to make this run over. But I don't blunder, and I'm able to see this run to the end. However, I would like to note that even in this run, this god run, with great luck, you know, I still lose the top column at the end. And with that, we've finally reached the end of the easiest part of the challenge. In the next world, I spend 40 minutes on one of the early levels. Not 40 minutes of attempts. 1 attempt is 40 minutes. Yeah, things get rough ahead. So make sure to tune in because...
On the next Arrested Development,
Tristan spends several hours on a challenge to unlock a completely useless plant. TRC Wolf kills 10 of his subscribers. We finally beat this challenge level for real this time. Come on, you guys got this. Yeah, they're doing a lot better than the run I forgot to record. I don't have a better place to put this, but this is a really funny thing that happened while I was editing. Editing Tristan here. So as I'm editing this video, I put this footage, I moved it to the right to try to get it out of the way while I was making other stuff. And it's for the outro. And I accidentally sync it so well with the footage that I'm playing while I'm looking for a specific clip. Pop, pop, it's showtime. I just hit the fucking emote right at the perfect time. Showtime. If you're seeing this footage, then you're next on my list.